everyone, my name is Bethany Jones, and welcome to my video essay on Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress by CG. The story takes place in the early 1970s, during the height of the Cultural Revolution. Chairman Mao has ordered the re-education of youths whose families are considered bourgeois or intellectual. Two teenage boys, Lao and unnamed narrator, are sent from the city to a poor mountain village called Phoenix Mountain, their mission to become peasants and shed their corrupt urban influences. In CG's 2000 published novel, Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress, and the 2000 film adaptation, the author transforms the same story to explore how art reshapes identity under cultural refinement, while the novel emphasizes the mental transformation of its characters through symbolism, imagery, and narrative perspective. In both versions of the story, symbolism becomes the plot of transformation for Western books. The mountain, the violin, and objects like the sewing machine all work as symbolic forces that reshape the characters' identities. In the novel, the suitcase of banned Western books is the most powerful symbol. For Ma, Lao, and the Little Chinese Seamstress, these books represent freedom, escape, and forbidden knowledge in a world defined by re-education and political control. She ended up putting your wretched coat on, which looked very good on her, I must say. She said having Balzac's words next to her skin made her feel good and also more intelligent. In the film, the symbolic power of the books remains, but the emphasis shifts. Instead of focusing on their detailed content, the film highlights the danger and seduction of possessing forbidden ideas. The visual secrecy around the suitcase emphasizes rebellion, while scenes of reading aloud highlight emotional intimacy rather than intellectual discovery. Both the novel and film show her transformation as a movement from innocence to self-determination, but the novel ties her awakening directly to literature, while the film ties it to more emotional experience and personal desire. Imagery is valuable in both the novel and the film of Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress because it is the main tool that expresses the characters' inner transformations and reveals themes that would otherwise remain hidden. Examples would be the imagery of the Phoenix Mountain, where it stated, "There was no road to the mountain, only a narrow pathway threading steeply through great walls of craggy rock." The imagery in the Western books changes how the characters view themselves and their lives. It opens the seamstress's mind to a world beyond the mountain, it gives Ma an emotional escape, and it fuels Lao's confidence in his romantic imagination. Despite the differences of imagery in both the novel and the film, imagery illuminates how Ma, Lao, and especially the little seamstress grow beyond the constraints of Phoenix Mountain, discovering new identities shaped by beauty, knowledge, and imagination. Lastly, CG uses narrative perspective to emphasize the mental transformation of the little seamstress, Lao, and Ma. The novel is told almost entirely from Ma's first-person point of view, often called first-person limited. We experience the story through his emotions and memories. All his interpretations of Lao and the seamstress are filtered through his perspective. I was surprised and flattered by his request, and promised to do as he instructed. How blindly Lao trusted me. Asking this of me at the last minute was like giving me a priceless treasure for safekeeping, without it even entering his head that I might make off with it myself. Because we're inside Ma's mind, we understand his longing for home, his fear of political punishment, his envy of Lao, and the growing admiration for the seamstress. The film's visual third-person perspective opens the story to multiple viewpoints, making transformations visible rather than internal. The film uses a third-person visual storytelling alongside occasional voiceovers from Ma. We see the scenes the novel never shows directly, such as the little seamstress is alone, Lao traveling, the tailor's reactions, scenes where Ma is not present. But the voiceover is less detailed and less reflective than the book. The film becomes more objective, letting the audience interpret characters independently, rather than through Ma's personal memories. as well as the movie using a framing device when Ma returns to the village as an adult and reflects on the past, as well as he arrives by train and walks to the old village. This creates a flashback narrative rather than the continuous present tense intimacy of the novel. Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress shows how, even in the harshest political circumstances, stories can ignite hope, imagination, and coming of age. Lao, the narrator, and the Little Chinese Seamstress are forever changed, not by Mao's re-education, but by the forbidden books that open their eyes to a wider world through symbolism, imagery, and a narrative perspective.